Sam.
Yes.
So you do some of the most interesting business intelligence I've ever seen. You know, I built a lot of my career in the military on collecting intelligence and just knowing a little bit more than other people about things. And this is why I love what it is you do. And it seems like every single time we're looking for information, you've got the answer. So give me an update. What's going on now?
Well, I think you have to take it up to a 50,000 foot level and ask yourself the why. So in the military, obviously you have a reason for gathering this intelligence. We got to find out what the bad guys are doing and go at them before they cause some damage. In sales, it's kind of the opposite. We're not looking for bad guys, we're looking for good people. We're looking for people that might be interested in purchasing our product, our service, our solution. Because sales, if you think about sales, it's actually a very noble profession. I'm not trying to convince you to buy anything. Rather, I'm trying to figure out what's going on in your world. What do you care about? And can my solution help you achieve your goals a little faster, a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more profitably than you might be able to do on your own? So how do we get the answers to those questions before I even walk in the room? Because we've all been in a situation where a salesperson, I'm sure you've had this, where a salesperson starts fishing for information. You know, how much money do you make? What keeps you up at night, right? And that's really annoying as a buyer. And so with the amount of data, with the amount of information that's out there on the internet, it's how do we use tools like Google and social media, but use them in ways that 99% of the planet has no clue how to do. Use them to get information on my prospects, what's going on in their world. So I already know which of my solutions are relevant to what the other person cares about before I walk in the room. I already know what kind of questions can I ask that will be of interest to you before I walk in the room. Because at the end of the day, people buy from people who they like and who they trust. And if I can walk in and talk about something I know you're massively passionate about, which would be you, that's how I start gaining that trust. I gain permission to ask better questions and really connect on that personal basis.
So when I go online and I start to do research about somebody I'm going to talk to, maybe a prospective client or customer, I have to tell you, Sam, a lot of times I just wind up in rabbit holes.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I realize it's an hour later and I was trying to do research on this one client and then I wound up finding a sale at Penny's. I mean, how does that happen? All these rabbit holes. And you've kind of made this streamlined so that I'm not stuck in these rabbit holes, finding things that I don't need, things that I don't want, and you've really streamlined this process.
Sure. Well, I'm going to answer it partially by asking you a question. What's Google?
It's a button on my computer that finds stuff.
It's a search engine.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Google's an ad serving engine that happens to use search as the way to get you to click on ads. So Google has to be good enough so stuff shows up, but it doesn't want it to be so perfect that you don't click on an ad, because if you were always getting exactly what you wanted, you'd never click on an ad. Google would never make any money. And so there are techniques, really mathematical algorithms. Google's really a big math system. And so I kind of reverse engineer the math to actually help you get the exact information you want. So crafting these mathematical algorithms. So instead of going down these rabbit holes, you get the 1, the 3, the 5. I mean, when I get one result, to me that's the holy grail. Because that means there's the one place that has the exact information I'm looking for. That also extends into, LinkedIn is a search engine. Facebook is a search engine. There's all these other websites that are really built on top of databases of billions, sometimes trillions of pieces of data. How can you use similar or the same mathematical algorithms to mine those databases as well?
Okay, so I did enough algebra in college. I don't need to do any more. So that whole algorithm idea, I don't want to do that. So if I want access to what it is you're doing, what's the best way for me to do that?
Great question, because I get paid a lot of money to go give keynote presentations all over the globe, and one time as all of our ideas come in the shower, right? I had this idea, I was thinking of, what else do people want? Should I write a new book? Should I create a new video? And I thought, you know what? People just want a tool that does it all for them. And so I did that. I built a tool. It's called the Sales Intel Engine, or the Intel Engine. The easiest way to think of it is a Google search overlay. So it sits on top of Google. So here's what it does. There might be 2 or 3 fields. Type in the name of a person or the city you're interested in. And then there's a number of buttons. What happens is when you're searching for information on Denver, let's say you want to find CEOs of banking companies in Denver. All you have to do in the Intel Engine is type in CEO Banking Denver. When you click find executives, the button find executives, there's a 50-word mathematical algorithm that's dynamically built in the background. And I tell Google, don't look at the entire internet. These are the only 4 sources where I want you to look at that information. So the only thing you had to do was type in CEO Banking Denver. The machine did all the work underneath it. So it's a Google search overlay that also lays on top of some of these other databases. So if you're looking for political donations, you want to find a lead list, membership directories, all those sorts of things, you just type in 1 or 2 words and the system builds the algorithm, delivers the results for you.
Okay, wait a second. So you're telling me that I can use your search engine and I can find membership databases.
Yeah, for sure.
I can find employee lists.
Yep.
I can find out who the CEO is of a company that I'm going to be having a sales call with.
Yep.
That you can also find out not just their name, but background information.
If it exists online, yeah.
If it exists online, your search engine finds it.
And the latest news article. See, Google News is awesome as an example. But Google News will look at the big publications, and that's fine if you're calling on a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But a lot of us are calling on smaller companies, and those folks aren't being written up in the USA Today, but those folks are being written up in the Poughkeepsie Times, the Lakeshore Weekly News. So I built a news search engine that's even better than Google News because I'm searching millions of newspaper articles from all those small publications. And I sort it. So when you type a CEO's name in or a company name, it'll pull up news articles, business articles, press releases, local news articles. Because again, I always like to say the first words out of your mouth in any meeting should be about the other person. Why? Because they're massively passionate about themselves. Congratulate them on an award they've won, on a new client they've won. What's going on in their world that they care about? When you talk about the other person, again, that's where you're able to build those relationships. The Intel engine really automates a lot of that. Membership lists. For an example, I did a speech at the Society of Human Resources Management. It's called SHRM. I did the Minnesota Regional Conference. Did very, very well. Well, there's a lot of other SHRM chapters. Instead of going into Google and trying to find one by one, I just went into the Intel engine, I typed in SHRM, I clicked on membership directory and it pulled up all few other 100 membership directories. I clicked the contact and industry association button, it pulled up the contact information for all the SHRMs across the country. So could I have done that in Google? Absolutely, because again, the Intel engine is not some new database, it's an overlay. So could I have done it in Google? Yes. I've tested things with some of the best searchers on the planet, some of the best like professional librarians, where I've said, go find this. And go find me a CEO at a human resources-led organization who went to the University of Arizona and played in the band at the University of Arizona.
That's pretty specific.
Now you could find that in Google, but it'll take even the best searchers on the planet 90 seconds, 3 minutes. The average person probably can't even do it. In the Intel engine, you type in 4 words, less than 3 seconds, got your answer.
Because when I go into Google and I do a search, I know that the best way to do it has to do with parentheses and quotes and all those things, but most of us don't use that. Most of us just don't.
It's the combination of all those things.
Right.
And so the Intel engine will dynamically build those based on what you're looking for. Because where sometimes you put quotation marks, sometimes you don't want to use quotation marks. Sometimes you use parentheses with an uppercase or and a minus sign. Sometimes you don't, depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't want to do any of that, Sam. I just want...
Makes your brain explode,
It makes my brain explode. And then you sit here and do this all the time and create algorithms for each and every one of these categories, and that makes my head explode just a little bit. But your search engine, I don't do that. I know because I've used it, I'm able to put in, when I've got a client call, I put in what's going on, and it not only does it tell me about the person I'm about to talk to, but it also tells me about the company. Yeah. So I need to share a success story with you that I used it, and I was supposed to be doing some work for this client, and as I was prepping for the call, a week ahead of time, whatever, I found out that they had just sold about 1/3 of their business. And they hadn't told their people yet.
Oh, wow.
So your search engine actually found it because of some internal publication things. And I mean, it's internal, it's public source, but it was internal publications before even the employees had been notified. Yeah. So I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna get postponed. And I knew a good week before that phone call. And they said, we just found out yesterday.
Well, here's another thing that I love about the Intel engine is also has a whole section on sales triggers. So a sales trigger is what's going on in the other person's world where they might actually be interested in taking your call. Sales is really hard. The one time where it's a little bit easier is when an organization is going through change. They've hired a new CEO. Most people don't know, but 70% of a C-level executive 70% of their entire annual budget they'll spend in the first 3 months on a job. Why? Because they want to show how smart they are. Anytime there's a new leadership change, a merger and acquisition, a partnership, how do you find that stuff? In the Intel engine, I could type in Denver Healthcare. Boom, in 3 seconds. Here's all the new CEOs in Denver Healthcare. Here's all the new mergers and acquisitions, partnerships. Now here's another cool thing. I actually build custom versions of the Intel engine where I can laser focus for a very specific industry. So for example, if you're a financial advisor, you could use the main Intel engine, but there's a lot of stuff there. I can build one just specifically for you. What are the things you care about? Well, I only care about when a teacher retires. Okay, I can build a button for that. I only care about when a thermoplastics manufacturing company decides to partner with an automobile company. A real world example. Working with a company, they sell these big units that go inside a factory. And so the only thing they care about is when a new factory is being remodeled or built. So they've got one field, or 2 fields, a city and an industry, and 2 buttons. They type in the city name, the industry, so Denver chemical or Dallas automobile. And they click a button. One can be factories being remodeled. It'll pull up a list of all the factories in the automotive industry in Dallas that are being remodeled. Or here's the other cool one, factories that are in proposal to be built, because I'm tapping into city council meeting minutes. So here are all the automobile factories in Dallas where they brought a proposal to the city council to potentially build a factory. Because if you can know when your prospect is ready to buy, in this example, maybe 2 years before they're ready to buy, do you think you can start building that relationship? Absolutely. So that's what these tools allow us to do, is get that intelligence similar to what you did in the military, right? Mm-hmm. But where you're trying to stop bad guys from doing things, again, what we're trying to find is what's going on that's relevant to the other person so we can provide value, the positive side of intelligence.
What I love about this, Sam, is it really does streamline the gathering of intelligence so that I can build that relationship, so I can know more about what they care about and moving forward. Now this is available to anybody. They can come and they can get this, right? And I think it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, you can go to sellingintel.com, www.sellingintel.com, and it's $50 a month if you just need a short-term thing, or $240 for the entire year.
That's amazingly cheap.
Yeah.
Because when you think about people's time, and the fact that every time I go in there to find something and it takes me an hour and I still don't find what I want, and this finds it for me in seconds.
Yeah, I actually built a calculator where you can go online.
Of course you did.
and I give you a couple sample searches. And I say, go find this on LinkedIn, go find this on Google, and you type in what it takes you to find, and then I tell you here's how long it will take you to find that in the Intel engine. The average person I've tracked that I can save 50 hours a year. The average salesperson more than 80 hours per year. Now think about that. Even if you took half that time, 40 hours, you spend half the time playing more golf, half the time actually doing more sales calls. The average person can do, let's say, 10 calls. That's an additional 400 calls per year. At an average order size and average close rate, that could be millions of dollars.
And we weren't finding what we needed anyway.
That's right.
That's the whole thing. Okay, so where do we find this again?
www.sellingintel.com.
Sellingintel.com. This is Sam Richter.